The Cowboys OT is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Resorts World Bimini, the hidden gem of the Bahamas. Sleep Number. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Welcome into the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studio. That is a look at where the Cowboys thought they were going to go into OT. This is Cowboys OT. Lindsey Draper, Brian Broaddus, Nate Newton, and we are joined by Jim Jeffcoat on the set this evening with us, former Dallas Cowboy. Going to break down that defense for us. And the Cowboys fall 20-17 to the Redskins heading into the bye. Just all around, not a good look, not a good situation going into the bye for this team. And Brian, was there any positives out of today that you saw? Because we saw a lot of shortcomings from the offense and the defense really struggling to get home as well.
Well, yeah, there were. And, you know, I think you have to, if you want to say a positive, was the fight that they showed. You know, they played the last drive of the Redskins well defensively. They used the timeouts well to get the ball back. You know, Prescott having to scramble, Beasley having to make some throws. I mean, he was really kind of quiet all day. But, guys, this really came down to the Cowboys' inability to sustain any drives, run the football. But the penalties were just awful. Not just the one at the end of the game, but you look at the holding calls and what that did to this offense. Dak Prescott early in the game had a big scramble, gets called back for a holding. Then all of a sudden you get the Connor Williams play at the end, another holding that takes back a big play. So when this team, as we've said through all these weeks, when it gets behind the chains, it's a hard offense to move the football. And we kind of saw that today.
Nate Newton, I want to ask you specifically about this offensive line because I think today we got a really up-close look throughout that game at some of the breakdowns that they were having, some untimely penalties to keep the offense from getting anything going. How are they looking at this point of the season to you, honestly?
They was gaining traction. You know, even when they lost on the road. I know that's the Jason Garrett term, gaining traction. But this game here, like Broaddus said, you know, you had to hold and you had to chop block. Yeah. That hurt them. Every time they had a plus 15 or a plus 10 play, it was 8 for 65. And I think over half of those 65 yards because of your offensive line. When you go on the road, Jimmy used to tell us all, you got to have a sound defense, you got to have a serious running game, and your special teams can't hurt you. And today we did not have that.
All three of those happened.
Yeah, we didn't have that today. And we went on the road, and the Redskins put it on us in a physical way.
This is always a brute game and back and forth. You don't know who's going to win going into it. How did that young defense look to you?
I thought they did some good things. You got to look at DeMarcus Lawrence, who is the key player on there. He had 7 tackles. 4 of them were just solos, but 3 of them were tackles for loss. And I think he played at a high level. But just like me and Nate were talking about, everybody's got to play at a high level, not just offense, not just defense, especially on the road, because the margin of error becomes smaller.
All right, we're taking a quick look over. Taylor Stern has us a look inside the locker room at FedEx Field. Before we get to tonight's highlights, you have a big thing that's coming out of locker room right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people were talking about the reaction of the LP Lattisaur snap infraction call that we just haven't seen really ever. And it says, Jane Slater from NFL Network says, long snapper LP Lattisaur says he didn't do anything differently tonight than he's done in his 14 years at the position. He said he adjusted the ball as he always does to get his hands on it, but didn't lift it up. He said this should have gone to OT. This sucks. We echo his message here. I mean, I think all of us feel that way. But do you feel on that drive that Garrett had the clock management and the plays they needed to actually go to OT?
Well, let's take a look at it. Let's go to the highlights, look at how it all played out, and we can all let you guys on the panel decide how you think it all went down. Okay, early on in the game, big run for Dak, but this is what Nate Newton was talking about. It came back due to holding.
Oh, yes. Wow, you can't have that.
Frustration all over his face.
The quarterback is banged up. He's outrunning. He's trying to make things happen. 22 yards he gained right here. Great run.
Tyron Smith looking like himself?
Huh?
Tyron Smith looking like himself?
I'll answer for him. No, he's not.
Not technique-wise. No, he's not.
Okay, so Bibbs, of course, everyone's kind of, who's Bibbs? Well, this guy is making a name for himself today against the Cowboys.
And nice job by the Redskins, though. They set it up well on that play, and it's effective. You get blocking downfield, you can hit those screens.
Garrett calls a 4th and 1. Let's go for it. And Dak Prescott cannot hang on to the ball.
Right here, I didn't understand. He had the first cover up. Cover.
Yeah.
You got, when you know you got the first, cover up.
Yeah.
All right, here's a bad play for Dak Prescott as he's trying to get out of bounds here. We thought this might be the last we see of him today, but he was cleared.
Yeah, Jim Jeffcoat was laughing at me they're saying, look what you just did right there. Broadus, you want my guy to run. All of a sudden he gets hit right in the face. But no, Prescott able to kind of pull himself together, though, and get back out there on the field.
Okay, here we go. Ezekiel Elliott, really no gain or maybe a couple loss here. Guys, this was just not a good day for him. He could not get it going behind the line.
No, I'll be interested to see when we watch the tape how well the inside three played for the Cowboys. I have a feeling that they didn't have one of their better games. Last week they were able to do some things. I thought, guys, they were going to have to run the ball on the edge a little bit. We didn't see that until maybe the second half.
All right, this is a nice play right here, a little double move action from Michael Gallup. Are you guys impressed by what he's going to bring in the future?
Yeah, we thought this was the way it was going to go. The Redskins secondary is very aggressive. Like we talked about, double moves might be big, and they got him one there.
All right, that evened it out for the Cowboys, 7-all. DeMarcus Lawrence getting in there. Jim, something you like to see, and then the Redskins. What? Okay, I don't know what. I appreciate the creativity. Not happening. Not happening.
Yeah.
So, David Irving getting involved and Alex Smith. Guys, he didn't do anything spectacular today.
No, he doesn't have to.
See, yeah, that's why they won the game, because your guy fumbled the ball twice and their guy didn't do anything to turn the ball over. That's the way that Alex Smith plays football.
Spectacular, though.
But that was the horse
Ryan
today.
was saying he's drinking from the fountain of youth.
He is drinking from the.
He looked great.
You know what? And he's in a nice scheme. They were talking about it in the broadcast, the ability for him to play the shotgun, and it's been favorable for him.
I mean, 99 yards and 4.1.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Big catch for Allen Hurns here, trying to spread it around to some different receivers today, and he came up with one, got away from Josh Norman. And then, what do we have here? A Cole Beasley catch, but...
Yeah, but then Connor Williams thinks he's at the rodeo, and he's going to bulldog his guy down right there, and that's unfortunate. You know, when Connor Williams is off balance, out of balance, bad technique, you know, those things happen to him. It hasn't happened to him a lot, but bad time at that game.
This can't happen, Jeff Cole.
No.
You know this can't happen deep down in there, man. You got to get rid of that ball. You got to do something. You got to make a decision now. Go.
Yep.
Yeah,
you should have a clock in your head, especially quarterbacks, because we have clocks in our head as defensive linemen looking at it. And if that quarterback holds it too long, we're going to find a way to get to him.
All right, later in the game, here's what we discussed just right before coming on the show. Dak Prescott getting the Cowboys back on the board. It's 2017 at this point with 1:37 to play. How are you guys feeling?
You know, it felt a lot better. We were trying to figure out, though, if they needed an onside kick or kick off. I think Garrett made the right call, kicking it deep. It worked out to where he had enough time and he had a timeout left. So good job on his part with that clock management there.
Cole Beasley,
Makes
it
a
seems
nice
like
catch
the Cowboys,
right
getting
puts everybody in
set
good
up.
position. They reviewed it. You know, you had a lot of time to discuss what you're going to do after this play right here.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and they ran the ball, though, to get it to this point right here, but then unfortunately you have what what Taylor's talking about. As a former long snapper at LSU, you know, you adjust the ball. This is nothing different. I've watched LP Ladouceur do this on tape a ton. He moves the ball, moves it over. There's two officials right there watching him, and they decided that was a penalty. And
it obviously cost him. I mean, Brett Maher, we've seen he's got the power on the kick. That was just too far. 52 yards.
Well, we've seen him make kicks. I mean, we've seen him make long. Yeah, we've seen him make long kicks. Yeah. I think that, you know, you're outdoors. It didn't like the wind was a factor or anything like that. He just started this ball at the left upright, and it stayed there. That was the problem. And you've seen Maher on the right hash before. He's a guy that kind of draws it a little bit, but unfortunately, though, that ended up as a loss for the Cowboys.
All right, that is not all, you know, what it all came down to, that one last play. We'll talk more about the game and hear from head coach Jason Garrett from FedEx Field right after these messages. 2017, your final from FedEx Field. I believe everyone on this set picked a win.
I did.
I picked a win. Win?
Win.
Always a win.
Always a win.
Ryan, you've been really good this year, and you picked a win.
I did.
That's
I sure did.
something.
Sure did.
Okay, so we were all surprised that the Cowboys could not get it together. Taylor Stern, I think Ezekiel Elliott joins us in being surprised that this was just not going to happen for them today.
He did. He joined us through Ezekiel Elliott. Just was working through Dave Hellman in this tweet today, at Hellman DC. Zeke, our defense is playing way too good for us to be leaving them hanging like that. Says the Cowboys offense has things to figure out heading into the bye, because as we've talked about going into this game, this is the last game until November 5th. They will play on Monday Night Football back here against the Tennessee Titans. So it is a long time to sit on that loss.
I don't know how the bye weeks and all the time in between is different from when both of you guys played, but it just seems to me like you would just not be happy going into a bye week below 500 against a division rival. What's so funny?
Because I know what happened in our bye weeks.
Tell us. That's why you're on this set, big fella. Tell us.
We would get Monday off. We practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, half day Friday. We get Saturday and Sunday off, and we're back on Monday.
Yeah.
And we were banging. Trust me.
If we lost, we were banging. Me and Jeff go at each other. Because he never slowed down. I'd be like, Jeff.
I slowed down one time, but I had to go get some water.
I'm glad we could still have a good time up here on Cowboys OT, but guys, why wasn't Ezekiel Elliott able to get a rhythm today at all?
Offensive line.
Yeah, the line. I mean, it was very clear, though. The Redskins, they were the 32nd ranked run defense in the league last year. What do they do this year? They back-to-back drafts. They went out and got them what Jerry Jones would describe as war daddies that are playing inside. And then you put Ryan Kerrigan in the mix. You also with Preston Smith in the mix. They've got guys that have the ability to get to the football. There was, if you're watching the game on TV, you saw a couple of times Tony Romo was describing some plays, and you saw the leverage which those inside guys were able to play with, though. And like I said, when I go back and look at this tape, and I'm sure that I'll see this, though, the Dallas inside three had their share of problems blocking all day long. You can see the Redskins, a lot of white shirts square along the line of scrimmage there. These guys will tell you, though, you play good run defense, you play square, and that's what the Redskins were able to do today.
Jonathan Allen.
Yes.
Deron Payne.
Yes.
First, one from last year and one this year. First round picks. They allowed their linebackers to take advantage of a free run. That's what we see Sean Lee do a lot for our team is when our defensive line is playing good, the linebackers can run free. And that's what happened today to our running game. Their linebackers was running free. I think on maybe 12 carries, Zeke was probably hitting the backfield. I had to dodge people coming out of the backfield. No gain to 1 yard. That's not going to work on the road.
And even our Marinelli talks about, look how disruptive they're doing, disruptive plays. Yeah. They're making disruptive plays on the Redskins front. And that's going to cause you issues. Even a talent like Zeke Elliott, that's going to be hard to run against.
Yes. There were no lanes. There were no lanes. And I saw late in the game, though, you talk about coaching stuff. I thought that they were going to have to run the ball on the edge a little bit and see if they can make that work. And I only saw one time where it was a counter play and Zeke got like 6 yards. I'm thinking, okay, here's their halftime adjustment. They're going to pull guys. Remember last week against Jacksonville, we saw them pulling guys, getting guys out on the edge. Well, Redskins did a really nice job of stretching things out right there, though, and not allowing Dallas to get the corner like I thought they'd be able to. But they only had that one time where I saw a counter. That's kind of been a staple for them running the football, but it didn't work in this game, or they didn't do it enough, is what I'm trying to say.
All you have to do is when you're front three, is holding down the fort like Payne and Allen was, when they're holding down the front like that right there, all you got to do is set the edges. Yeah. Redskins say, we setting the edges. Yeah. And it forced everything back to the middle, and that hurt Zeke.
Did Ezekiel Elliott look healthy to you guys?
He's healthy.
This was just an old-fashioned butt kicking up front. There was no more to it. It wasn't Zeke not having his knee, ankle, all that stuff. He was ready to go. Last week they were running the ball fine. This week they did not run the ball well. It's been a trend on the road now. If you look at what's going on, Carolina, Seattle, and then now with Houston in this game, they've had some problems on the road running the football, but it's been some pretty good defenses
there, too. Because on the road, just like Nate said earlier, you got to be able to run the ball. You got to play good, sound defense, and you got to play great special teams.
Yes, you do.
All right, guys, another quick break, and when we come back, Taylor is fielding more of your tweets, and we'll hear from head coach Jason Garrett about that snap infraction and everything in between next. 20-17 your final from FedEx Field this afternoon. We got reaction for you here, everything you could need from the Star in Frisco. But before we do that, let's hear from head coach Jason Garrett at the podium before we continue.
Yeah, apparently they saw our long snapper do something that they think caused the defensive lineman to be offsides.
Just how many times have you seen that call over the years?
I can't think of, I don't know, once, twice, I don't know, not very often.
Thought process there, like you want to spike it and review the previous call. Did you think about let's take a shot in the end zone, or you just after that?
Yeah, the biggest thing after we got ourselves into field goal range was to try to get up there and clock the ball, preserve that last time out, and then give us the freedom. I think we were able to get it clocked at 12 seconds. So once we got to that point, the biggest thing we wanted to do was maximize the field goal opportunity and run the ball, make some yards, use the timeout, and then kick the game-tying field goal.
Did the official tell you on that? Did he actually lift the ball off the ground, just adjusted it, or what did he say?
Yeah, I don't want to get into the details of all of that.
Before all that, they shut down Zeke, unlike you've seen for a while. What did you take on running?
Yeah, obviously they did a good job defending our run. A lot of guys around the line of scrimmage, and we tried to attack them a lot of different ways, and they defended it well. And wanted to be persistent running the football throughout. Ultimately, we had to move the ball by throwing it, and I thought we responded well as the game wore on, certainly on those last couple drives.
Outside of that last drive, what do you think the O-line struggled with today?
Well, it's a good defensive front, and again, we weren't able to run the ball like we wanted to, and then you get into some unfavorable situations, pass protecting. Obviously, penalties were a huge part of this game. We were behind the chains a lot because of different penalties that happened. So you want to stay in a manageable situation. We didn't do that consistently well enough.
It was just the pattern of all your other road games this year, the untimely penalties and third down conversions and just getting behind.
Yeah, obviously we weren't efficient enough offensively throughout. It was that kind of a game, though. Both defenses played well, battled back and forth, low-scoring game. It was going to come down to what it came down to. Being efficient at the end of the ball game, do what you needed to do to get yourself back in it, and then the opportunity to kick the game-tying field goal, and ultimately it didn't work out for us.
Regardless of the yards you lost, is that a makeable kick there for Amara?
He's done very well. Obviously, kicking the ball, we're going in the right direction. At the end, I think it was 53. Is that correct? And so we've seen him make those kinds of kicks. Unfortunately, he didn't make this one.
Since Dak's performance today had a rough start, and receivers may not help him out, but he came back.
Yeah, I just thought he battled. He battled throughout. Made some plays with his feet, made some big throws as the game went on. Certainly wasn't as clean as we wanted it to be, but I thought he hung in there in the pocket and made some plays. He moved, and then certainly the last couple of drives to get us down there to score that touchdown and then give us an opportunity to kick the game-tying field goal. Certainly made a number of big plays throughout.
You talked about his two fumbles, the one on the 4th and 1 early, and then on the goal line that resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah, the 4th and 1, it was really 4th and inches, so, we made it, and, as he was going down, he gets the ball knocked out. He's typically very, very good with the football. And the one coming out was a longer down and distance situations, and, he climbed up in the pocket, and it looked like 91 came around free and was able to knock the ball out. So, again, he's very good with the ball. Unfortunately, in those two plays, we weren't able to secure it. Yeah, I thought the biggest issue was, on some of those things we didn't block them well enough. They have a good pass rush, and they were bringing some different people. So, I think we had to, work on getting the ball out of our hand and being more efficient there. We were able to do that on those last couple of drives, stay ahead of the chains a little bit. I thought those were positive. The touchdown to Michael before the half was certainly a big play for us. We needed that, and opportunities down the field, some opportunities underneath. Got to cash in on them. We didn't do it consistently well enough today.
All right, so when we check in with Taylor Stern, it's only for the best, latest, greatest news. Taylor, what do you have?
I have few words because DeMarcus Lawrence had no words. He just sent out a tweet with simply angry face emojis that didn't even compute to our screen. It was so bad. He was so upset with the game. Guys, people are quote tweeting it, saying mood, that's how I feel too. DeMarcus Lawrence, though, he's been such a leader on this defense. Today they only had 1 sack. Do you think that they can still turn it around after this bye week?
I feel bad for a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence, who's worked so hard consistently week after week, always shows up. He's the vocal leader of the locker room. He's bringing them together. He's made a necklace to kind of unify this competition and camaraderie with these guys. And it just seems like the offense cannot match their intensity that they bring every week.
Broadus said it best. The rest of this division is going to come back to Dallas.
I agree.
All they have to do is continue to Broadus. That was
The
great.
defense, you say, continue?
If the defense continue, they can pull the offense up. Offense just play better, and I'm talking about mainly the offensive line. Play better, and just the rest of this division will come back.
No question.
So the Eagles lost. We in this thing.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I agree with him totally. If the defense can find some way to get the offense some positive field position, they have an opportunity because there's no great teams in this division. Yeah. There's no great teams, and there is an opportunity. Yeah. Everybody says doom and gloom at this point, but it really isn't doom and gloom.
Yeah, the Redskins, let me trust me on tape, they've looked like the Cowboys have looked. And today, offensively, they weren't great. I mean, it was very similar. When they've won games, it's been Adrian Peterson running the football. And their quarterback does a great job of protecting it, but you know, their defense is good, but they've also have issues too. And it looks like Philadelphia's got issues. And, you know, we've all seen the Giants. You just got to put 3 or 4 of these together, though. That's the trick, though. The Cowboys just haven't been able to do it on the road. That's been the bigger issue.
And you correct me if I'm wrong. They got to go to Philly and they got to go to New York.
Right.
Yep.
And other than that, they got to come to them.
Right.
All right,
24 carries, 99 yards.
Oh, Adrian Peterson?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it was his day, for sure. And we're going to go switch to the other side of the ball and hear from quarterback Dak Prescott on what he thought of today and what has been going on with that offense after this break. All right, we're back here on Cowboys OT. Did you guys expect Dak Prescott to maybe, Brian, play better after evaluating practice and then the Redskins defense all week long? Or
well, I thought that the running game might help him. You know, he was minus the running game today. The penalties on the offensive line clearly hurt him. And so that, I think, was the biggest issue for him. He was having to do some things, you know, scramble around, make some throws. He made some tough throws today. Had a couple of drops that hurt him along the way as well. So I thought he played as well as he could play considering the problems that they had up front.
All right, let's go out and hear from quarterback Dak Prescott as he answers all the questions from the media at the podium.
Behind the chains, big penalties.
I mean, in a way, I wouldn't say it was the same as our past road games and the struggles that we've had. I think we did a decent job, a fine job communicating, but we're stepping on our own foot. I mean, it had nothing to do with being on the road or anywhere. We're just getting penalties, self-inflicting errors that we weren't giving ourselves a chance.
Let's talk about the second fumble and what we're trying to do there.
Yeah, I mean, got ready to spin out of that, make a play, and at that moment I realized I'm in the end zone, try to get back forward, and then that time, he got his hand on the ball, and it was one of those deals trying not to make a bad play and ended up making it worse. So just got to be cleaner there. Throw the ball away right there when I see him in my face. Just got to be smarter with the ball right there, knowing it backed up like that.
So at that moment, you were afraid you were going to give up the safety, and you were just trying to get out of it.
Exactly, and then trying to push forward just to get out of the end zone and lost the ball. So yeah, definitely.
Prior to spinning away from trouble, did you have Gallup on the left side?
I mean, that wasn't my first read. I was inside, and then obviously I was going to go there, and then the guys in my face. But obviously looking on the film, looking on the tape, yeah, I mean, it looked like he was there. But coming out of it, I'm pretty sure if I got out of it clean, would have saw that. But we can talk ifs and ands all day.
Can you talk about the hit in the first quarter? Do you think you had a concussion?
Nah, not at all. I mean, I've been hit many of times, and I mean, it was just a good, solid hit, but I was fine. I mean, obviously, got checked for all that. We have the best doctors. They checked me. They called down for me to get checked again. I was fine.
You were saying with smelling salt, that's just a normal thing that you do?
Yes, I used to do that every game.
Is that a little late for that hit there? Was just sliding a little late during the hit?
I mean, I don't know. I asked the ref. He said I'm a runner at that point. I understand that. I get that. I didn't know whether it was the head or the shoulder. Obviously, I'm just diving for the first down. It's football.
You talk about the fumble on 4th and 1 after you picked up the first. What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, just putting my head forward to get the first, and safety came in, just made a good hit, put his helmet right on the ball. I've got to do a better job taking care of the ball, knowing a lot of hands and a lot of people are coming around right there. I got to put two hands on it and hold it tight. It's one of those situations I've got the ball and getting ready to extend it if I need to, and safety just puts his helmet right on it. Good play by him.
The play prior to the fumble for a touchdown, you guys had a third down connection. You and Beasley for a first down penalty brought that back. How frustrating was that ball? You guys seem to maybe get that drive started.
It's the game of football. I mean, we're coming back and we're gonna make another third down call, and we're gonna go try to complete that. Obviously, the worst case happened that next play, but it's a game of football. We're just moving on from that. Let's go get this third down. It didn't work out, and that's all on me.
12 seconds left. If you want to go to the end zone just once, and that's set up for field goal.
I mean, that's where you're crossing your fingers and hoping at that point. We're just getting the run, getting the time down, obviously, and then just putting ourselves in a position for a makeable field goal.
They shut down Zeke in the running game. How much did that handicap the offense and put it on you?
Yeah, they did a good job at that. I mean, and we just had to go out there and do what we could in the passing game to try to lead this team and give ourselves a chance.
How stunned were you by the penalty and the missed kick at the end?
I mean, I didn't see any of that. Obviously, all I see is them jump. I don't know if we flinched or whatever it is, or something that you go back and you check out, but frustrating. But I had all the confidence and the faith in Brett making that kick, and just off the left upright. He's the best kicker in the game to me. I trust him, and he'll have many other chances to keep us in the game and win us the game. So he's a great kicker.
All right, Dak Prescott says he was fine after that big hit, but pretty uncharacteristic, Nate. I think you pointed it out. A few weeks now, Dak's been fumbling the ball, and last week he had some fortunate bounces right back to him, but is that a mental thing or not? I don't know. What is that?
He has to understand that ball security is what gives us our chance to win. We're not a big flinging around the field game. We're a guy that's conservative. We're a team that's conservative. We protect the football. That is what makes us. Without the football, we don't have a chance to win. And 2 or more turnovers has always cost the Dallas Cowboys.
And on a 4th and 1 right there, I mean, that's almost like you got to know. Your one job is to secure the ball.
How many times have we seen him and Elliott extend the ball and then come back and try, so yeah, that's just a football play right there. He's talking about protecting the football and that in the pile. I agree. But that's just a great hit by Swearinger. Right on the ball. I mean, that's what defenders do. You know that your job as a defender is to try and knock that ball loose. And if you can get a clean shot on the ball, in which he had, but yeah, that's the hard part. I mean, sometimes they make plays too, And
sure.
I mean, how many times have we been critical of Garrett for not even going for it? I mean, that should have right there.
Hey.
And everybody's like going, oh, well, it should have punted that ball,
No,
But no, he went
I
for it. He took a chance. There you go.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, but our coach, if we coach to play for, we play for, you get the first and you cover up the ball.
No question.
And he had an opportunity to cover up the ball.
No question. No question.
So we're taking baby steps, one thing at a time. We go for it on 4th and 1.
Stop.
We'll get there later. We got more coming for you here on Cowboys OT. Des Bryant is somehow getting involved in our show again after a Cowboys loss. That's next. Continuing here on Cowboys OT, guys, and it seems like everybody's on Twitter immediately following a loss. And one of those guys, are you guys tired of hearing of Des Bryant yet? Remember that guy?
Kind of hoping he would have got a job in June. Hadn't happened.
We all were. We're pulling for you, big guy. But
Sure.
for now, you're supporting your friend, Cole Beasley.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was pretty silent last week when Cole was going off and having the game he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But today, Des Bryant put his input in, saying, crazy how people still don't know what a catch is. I caught it, by the way. Guys, I'm sick of hearing about the catch. We know that Des caught it. It got confirmed by the NFL competition committee. But this Cole Beasley catch, no catch, what did you guys think about that?
Yeah, I know we've got the play. We'll probably throw it up here in a second. But what did you guys think? Cole Beasley was pretty quiet all game, right?
He came to life, too. And, Fabian Moreau, their nickel corner, went out of the game. And what happened? They started going to Cole Beasley.
Right.
And that's what happened last week. So, and I didn't think the Redskins were going to allow Cole Beasley to have a big game. But he came to life at the end of the game when they needed him to. But, it just couldn't get enough. I was hopeful. Seriously, I was hopeful that they would have tried to go on for the win here. I feel like that we're not talking about that enough.
Let's get to it. Yeah. So instead of going for field goal range,
he ran 2 plays in 52 seconds with a timeout.
You wanted to go for the end zone.
Yes, I wanted him to try and get the ball. I think they had Washington on their heels. You know, to me, you're playing for, okay, it's a 49-yard field goal. It's a 47-yard field goal. You know, in a grass field with wind, all the open-air stadium, yeah, the kid made field goals all along, but I felt like you had Washington on their heels with the way that the 2-minute drive was going. But to run 2 plays in just 52 seconds with a timeout, I thought was a wasted opportunity. I would have loved for him to try and go win the game right there. The protection was holding up. You had them on their heels a little bit. I just, you know, and again, a former coach here.
Yeah, I think you make a valid point, but the problem you have is, if you remember what I told you earlier, they were going to take Zeke and Beasley out of the game, and which, honestly, they did. But they were going to force someone else. Yeah, even in the 2-minute drive.
You look at the way that Washington was. I mean, yes, the pressure that they were able to get up until that point was tough. You know, but you had protection holding up. You know, you had the opportunity. Now, somebody will be out there and say, hey, Broadus, all you do is try and throw the ball down the field and you get another holding call. You're right then. You're right. If that happens and it takes you out of field goal range, you're right. But I just felt like that the way that the Cowboys were holding up, they were getting some guys open down the field, especially Cole Beasley. He was feeling it a little bit. I just felt like that they could have done a better job of getting the ball a little closer for him to have that opportunity. A 49-yard field goal on an open-air stadium grass field is a difficult proposition.
I agree with Broadus, because the worst can happen. You run 4 or 5 more plays, you get another first down or 2. Instead of looking at a 42 with the offside of 52, you may be looking at a 30.
Yeah.
You may be looking at a 32. I'm not saying that we would have scored, but the worst would have happened. You'd have been close to the field goal.
Well, who's going to make that play? Is it Hearn? Is it
Beasley. They had not covered Beasley to that point.
And Tony Romo in the booth was saying, there's your Jason Witten.
There's your Jason Witten. You know, maybe you get one of those tight ends going. I know Swain went off the field, but you make the field goal closer, where if it is a penalty for a snap violation, then okay, it's a 37-yard field goal, not a 52-yard field goal.
It's just amazing how we can sit here, but some things are obvious. You know, your offense hadn't proved to be any good, but when it started clicking late in the fourth quarter at its most opportune time, that was it. Your offense was clicking. Keep going until they stop you.
All right, guys, taking another break here from OT. When we come back, we'll talk about Cowboys defense, Adrian Peterson, and why he was able to do everything he did this afternoon. Next. Welcome back into Cowboys OT. If you're just joining us, Brian Broadus, Nate Newton, Jim Jeffcoat. I am Lindsay Draper. We're breaking it all down for you as the Cowboys head into the bye week with a sub-500 record, not where they want to be. And Taylor, sounds like not what you want to see outside the locker room after a loss this evening.
That's true, Lindsay. You know, normally in this post-game show, we can talk about what Jerry Jones might have added, saying something about the game or not. But tonight, he didn't say anything. Actually, we have Brandon George from Dallas Morning News saying Jerry Jones didn't talk after the loss to Washington, left the locker room from a side door without commenting. This isn't the first time we've seen this season, but it always seems to just have that extra sting after a loss like this.
Oh, I think you just said it perfectly, Taylor. It's just that added oomph of, okay, Jerry Jones owns up to anything. He can talk about anything. He's a fearless leader. So when he doesn't want to talk, it makes you wonder. I wonder why he's not saying anything.
Well, I think he's not going to say anything because he doesn't want to say anything that gets taken the wrong way. That's the problem.
Playing it safe.
Jerry Jones, one thing that I've learned in the 6 years in the scouting department, and Jim and I worked together, and he was in the coaching side, I was in scouting with. Jerry Jones is one of those guys. He's a great listener, but he also will tell you exactly what's on his mind too. You know, and that's the thing about it is, and you know, he did not want to put himself in a situation where the media takes it and twists it around. Better for him to get on the plane, go home, come back tomorrow morning, meet with the coaching staff, and figure out what exactly happened in this football game. Him, Steven, you know, they got trade deadlines coming up. They got a lot of things they got to look at, but he just did not want to put himself in a terrible situation of saying something that he might have regretted.
And Brian's exactly right. I've been around Jerry for many years, and he is like that. He's going to make sure he is not going to get it misconstrued.
Right.
He's going to say the things that he wants to say, but at this point, he doesn't want anybody saying, well, he said this,
right.
And look at that, or well, who did that?
No, you guys are, and you're absolutely right, Jim.
Yeah.
I mean, every day in media we say, well, Jerry said this to Jason. Well, Jerry said this to Jason. Well, you know, and that's hard. It's hard on both parties right there. But, you know, Jerry Jones, he's a smart man. He knows he's really upset. I've seen this. Jim's seen this. You know, Nate's seen this. We've all seen this. You know, better for him just to walk away right now and try and figure things out and go forward.
All right, let's check in with Taylor Stern over there in the social media corner. Another backbreaker for the Cowboys today.
Yeah, you said it, Lindsay. Adrian Peterson, he was the man for the Redskins. He really got going at age 33. He is on pace for a 1,100 yards plus season. Can you believe that? He would be the oldest to do that next to Walter Payton. But this stood out to me, especially from a Cowboys look. Adrian Peterson needs just 30 yards to pass Tony Dorsett for 9th in all-time career rushing yards. Guys, he had himself a day, as you're seeing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and that's what, you know, Adrian Peterson, get ready. That Tony Dorsett's about to get passed. This is what Washington is going to do. This is how Washington's game plan is going forward. Don't let the quarterback make mistakes and hope that they can ride this man's legs in through the rest of this season. They're going to take the approach that everybody thought that they needed to do, and that's run the football, play really good defense like you guys were talking about earlier, and the Redskins have shown that they could do that.
Man, he just pretty impressive up there behind that offensive line. We obviously know the coach who used to be here with the Cowboys.
Yes. Running game Moses.
Running game Moses. I mean, you'd expect to see that from the Cowboys line, but it just seemed like it was their day today.
No, they did a great job. Washington did a great job of blocking the Dallas front. How many times did we see with Peterson when it really popped, when the runs popped, somebody was knocked out of the play. Taco gets hooked. They got a guy up on inside on Jeff Heath playing as that down linebacker with the single high safety. You know, if you're going to go up there and play linebacker and all that up there with the big boys, you better get off those blocks and make tackles. They didn't do a very good job of that today.
All right, guys, another quick break. When we come back, more tweets. We're breaking it down, looking ahead, talking about this defense and everything in between here on Cowboys OT. Taking a look at the final numbers from this afternoon. A lot of penalties. Of course, the Redskins had 5 for 35, but the Cowboys 8 for 65. And again, Dak Prescott has told the media, guys, we are just a couple of plays away from wins. And now watching this game with that in my head, I saw those plays. Those plays were their chunk plays, and they get brought back by penalties, backbreakers that keep you from a win. There were too many of those today. Which was the big one for you guys?
Chop block for me. That chop block, you know, that hurt me bad. And then the other one when he took off for the 22 yards.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, at the very beginning of the game,
very beginning of the game.
With Tyron Smith.
Yeah, and they getting third down some, too, in this game. And, you know, is the numbers say Alan Hearns played better than he's played before. But on 3rd and 17, they throw a pass that hits him right in the chest, basically. And they
went through both his hands.
And it goes through his hands. And you're thinking about, oh, my gosh. I mean, that is an opportunity right there for a huge play. 3rd and 17, 3rd and 10 plus. And you get a quarterback that actually makes the throw, and you get a drop like that could have sustained a drive. That's the unfortunate. But here again, we're at the Houston Livestock Rodeo there with that movement there. It's like bulldogging. You can't do that. Though. It's unfortunate. That's you know, he's a young kid and he's played well, but you can't do that. You know, you've got to find a way to keep your body position. You know, to keep your body position, keep your feet. When he has problems, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly the problems he has. Gets overextended, top of his feet. Again, he's played very well, but that was a crushing penalty right there.
All right, Tay, let's check in over there. Of course, the biggest penalty of the game that everyone's going to be talking about is one that we haven't seen called in a long time.
Yeah, Kate Heropoulos of Dallas Morning News shared some tweets about post-game locker room was a little bit different today when LP Ladouceur had a large group around him. Of course, media want to know what happened on that odd snap infraction, but LP says, that's what I was telling the refs. I did the exact same thing. The guy just jumped. As long as I don't pick up the ball and the ball was on the ground the whole time, that's my understanding. I think this sounds fair from LP, and I think we heard from Brian Broaddus earlier, the former long snapper himself, that this is what he's normally doing. It just so happened that the guy was quick reaction. You see, he's just adjusting the ball right there. He didn't pick it up, though, and so that's why they were able to make the call. There is a video going around social right now, Lindsay, that's from the NFL officiating Twitter account that actually shows break by break why this happened, why they made the call, and why they were justified in the call. I still don't think.
Okay, so they're standing behind it.
Yeah. They're standing behind it
But
all
you
the
know
way.
what? Normally over a period of a game, and I think a couple times with Dale Hellestrade, they'll tell you. They will give you they'll give you warning.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you better watch that.
Hey, look like your ball is coming up. You know, and why if he? Wow, I don't want to even get into that, man. Because there's too many things that happened before this went down.
You know what? The ball is going up, and you can see it. But this is something that he has done his entire career. Trust me, I've watched him on special teams. I've watched special teams. I watched him at training camp. That is his way. I guarantee you, if you go around the National Football League, you will see every one of these centers adjust the football that way. They pick up the point, they move it around. That's what they do. Centers on offense do it too to get themselves ready for shotgun snaps. It's one of those calls that's rarely made.
Exactly.
And you had a guy jump. And that's why, that's why the penalty was called.
All right, we will be talking about this, of course, until the next time the Cowboys play, and we will talk about that and wrap things up for you here from the loss on Cowboys OT after these final messages.
The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Wendy's. Wendy's 4 for $4 now has 8 different entree options. Available at participating Wendy's for a limited time only. #1 Air, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
All right, NFC East standings. Cowboys could have had a chance today to be atop the Redskins after the Eagles lost, but obviously didn't happen today. All right, one final thought from Taylor Stern and the end of the game. Let's wrap it up. What you got?
Yeah, that's right, Lindsay. They could have had that chance, and it would have come down to Brett Maher's field goal. He said that penalty had zero impact on the result of that kick. I can promise you that LP and Chris, like they've done all year, they made my job easy. I felt like I was very capable of making that kick. I just didn't get it done. So we're getting it done here instead.
Wow. Well, I like it. Take ownership. I love that.
Yeah, it's good to take ownership, but like I said earlier, it's too many things happening in this game for it to come down to that. And the refs have to be consistent in how they handle the game. Normally, you would get some type of warning, no warning there, and I'm guessing that guy brought us his chirping in his ear. Hey, man, this guy picking the ball up, and he caught it at the right time.
Very untimely. What's your bye week thought, Brian?
You better get this offense fixed quick.
They better have another secret offensive meeting.
Why not?
Communication. Talk it up, Jim. We are so glad that you joined us tonight. Hope you had a great time. And thank you all for tuning in to Cowboys OT. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.